There's a reason you feel this way, a certain unease you can't quite name, a feeling that beneath the surface of your daily life, there is a deeper, darker current pulling at you. And tonight, we're going to expose it. We're going to pull back the curtain on the very fabric of reality to understand the silent, shared inheritance that shapes our deepest fears and most persistent struggles. This is about the dark collective unconscious, the fabric behind reality, psychology fix, the unspoken wound that connects us all in a web of ancestral dread and forgotten trauma, a psychological substrate where the ghosts of human history whisper our insecurities and choreograph our self-sabotage from the shadows. You felt this, haven't you? That sudden, inexplicable anxiety that descends in a quiet moment, the profound sense of loneliness in a crowd, the chilling certainty that something is wrong when, right? Pause. Notice what that just revealed in your body. That subtle tension, that quickening of your pulse. It's a signal from the depths. This isn't just your mind playing tricks on you. This is the echo of something much older, a story written in a language older than words. And we are all in some way living out its chapters. Characters in a play we didn't audition for, following a script we never read. Let's go deeper. What if your deepest fear of abandonment isn't just about a parent who was emotionally distant, but a primordial memory of the tribe casting out an ancestor? The visceral terror of being alone on the savannah, a death sentence encoded into your very DNA. What if your relentless drive for perfection isn't a personal flaw, but the ghost of 1,000 generations striving to be good enough to avoid the wrath of a capricious god or the rejection of the clan? The inherited, unprocessed pain of humanity that forms the invisible backdrop of our lives, the water we swim in without ever realizing we're wet. But here's the truth. You were never meant to be a prisoner of this ancient story. You were meant to become conscious of it, to read the script, and then with immense courage, to rewrite your part. Consider for a moment the story of Alara, a talented artist who could never quite finish her paintings. She'd get to the final strokes, the moment of revelation, and a wave of crippling self-doubt would wash over her. A voice hissing that it was never good enough, that to reveal it was to invite ridicule, or worse, annihilation. She thought it was a personal failing, a lack of discipline, but it was something far older. It was the archetype of the silenced witch, the creative woman whose power was deemed dangerous, whose voice was systematically extinguished for centuries. Her unfinished canvases were not a sign of laziness. They were an unconscious act of self-preservation, a loyalty to a conscious pact that said, stay small, stay safe, do not call attention to your magic. She was living out a pattern that was not hers to begin with, a story of creative suppression woven into the dark collective fabric. You felt this before, haven't you? That urge to shrink just as you're about to shine. Ask yourself this now. Where in your life have you stopped just short of the finish line? Not out of incapacity, but out of an ancient, inherited fear of what happens next. The mind creates this pattern not to torment you, but because on some primordial level, it believes it is protecting you. It mistakes the familiar pain of limitation for the safety of the known, and the terrifying freedom of actualization for the existential danger of being cast out. It is a sophisticated, if misguided, defense mechanism programmed into the species over millennia. Its sole purpose is to ensure survival, but it knows nothing of fulfillment, nothing of joy, nothing of the soul's unique purpose. It is the overprotective parent who, in trying to save you from a scraped knee, locks you in a basement for your entire life, convincing you the outside world is nothing but danger and pain. What no one tells you is that this mechanism is powered by hidden emotional triggers, subtle cues in your environment that resonate with these ancient wounds and activate the entire defense system, pulling you back into the old story. A critical comment from a boss isn't just feedback. It's the tribe's elder shaking his head, signaling imminent exile. A romantic rejection isn't just a failed connection. It's the proof that you are unworthy of love and will die alone. Financial instability isn't just a temporary setback. It's the famine winter closing in, triggering a hoarding, scarcity mentality that can poison your generosity and cloud your judgment. These triggers are so effective because they don't feel like memories. They feel like reality. They feel like undeniable, objective truth in the moment. And that is their greatest trick. They bypass the rational mind and speak directly to the oldest, most fearful parts of your psyche. Let's go deeper still. Think of Leo, a man who seemed to have it all. A successful career, a beautiful family, but was plagued by a relentless, grinding sense of emptiness. A feeling that he was just playing a role, that none of it was real, that he was a ghost in his own life. He'd achieve a major goal, and instead of fulfillment, he'd feel a deeper hollowing out, a quiet despair. He was trapped in the archetype of the hollow king, the ruler who has the entire kingdom, but has lost his soul, a figure that haunts the collective unconscious as a warning against mistaking external validation for internal worth. His triggers were moments of praise and success. They didn't inflate his ego, they deflated his spirit, because they reinforced the persona he had built, moving him further from his authentic self. Each accomplishment was another brick in the wall, separating him from his own heart. Pause. Notice what that just revealed. Where does your success feel empty? Where does praise feel like a sentence to keep performing? This is the dark collective unconscious at work, presenting you with a kingdom and demanding you trade your soul for it. But tonight, that ends. Tonight, we pick up the first weapon to cut these ancient strings. Weapon 1 is conscious delamination. This is the practice of separating the ancient story from your present moment experience. It is the scalpel you use to dissect the trigger from the trauma. Step 1. Recognize the trigger. This requires becoming a master detective of your own inner world. The next time you are thrown into a disproportionate emotional reaction, a surge of rage, a pit of despair, a freeze of anxiety, you stop. You take a breath and you ask, what is the story that is being activated right now? Is it the story of the abandoned child? The story of the unworthy servant? The story of the punished heretic? Name it. Give the ancient ghost a name. Step 2. Reframe the story. Once you've named it, you talk back to it. You say, I see you. I feel you. You are the story of the abandoned one. And you are afraid that this feeling means I will be left alone forever. But that is a story from another time. In this reality, I am safe. In this reality, I am an adult with resources and choice. You do not fight the story. You acknowledge its presence, and then you calmly, firmly state the truth of your current adult reality. You drain its power not with violence, but with validation and redirection. Step 3. Replace the pattern. Now, you make a conscious, different choice. If the old pattern, was to withdraw when feeling abandoned, your new pattern is to reach out to a trusted friend. If the old pattern was to rage when feeling controlled, your new pattern is to state a calm boundary. If the old pattern was to freeze when feeling inadequate, your new pattern is to take one small, imperfect action. You are literally rewiring the circuitry, building a new neural pathway that bypasses the ancient ruin. You feel it making sense already, don't you? This isn't about positive thinking. It's about factual recalibration, about updating the software of your soul with data from the present, not the haunted past. Let's go deeper. Weapon 2 is symbolic reclamation. The dark collective unconscious speaks the language of symbols and dreams, so we must learn to fight back in the same tongue. This weapon is about taking the very archetypes that have held you hostage and turning them into sources of power. Step 1. Recognize the trigger. This time, you look for the recurring symbols in your life. Do you constantly dream of being chased? Of drowning? Of being naked in public? These are not random. They are the archetypal landscapes of the collective shadow. Pay attention to the stories, movies, and myths that resonate with you on a deep, often unsettling level. They are mirrors showing you your own entanglement. Step 2. Reframe the story. Here, You actively reimagine the symbol. If you dream of a monster chasing you, in your waking meditation, you turn around and face it. You ask it, what do you want? What do you represent? You discover that the monster is often a disowned part of yourself, your own power, your own rage, your own wild creativity that you have been running from. You reclaim it. You integrate it. The shadow is not your enemy. It is your untapped power. Step 3. Replace the pattern. You create a new symbol, a personal talisman of your reclaimed power. It could be a piece of jewelry you wear, a word you whisper to yourself, an image on your phone's lock screen that represents the integrated whole you, the you that has faced the monster and discovered it was yourself all along. You use this symbol as an anchor, a touchstone to return to whenever the old, disempowering symbols try to reassert their control. You're starting to see it now, how the fabric of reality is not fixed, but malleable, how you can reweave the threads with intention. But here's the truth. The dark collective unconscious is a shared field, and we must also learn to navigate the projections and energies of others, which brings us to weapon 3, energetic sovereignty. This is the practice of building and recognize the trigger. You learn to feel when you are being psychically invaded. It's that drained feeling after being in a crowd, that sudden drop in mood after a conversation with a certain person, that vague anxiety you pick up from the news cycle. It feels like a hook has been set in your energy field, siphoning your vitality to feed some ancient, hungry ghost. Step 2. Reframe the story. You affirm, this energy is not mine. This emotion is not mine to carry. I am a separate, sovereign being. I can have compassion without absorption. You visualize a sphere of clear, golden light around your body, a filter that allows love and information to pass through, but traps fear and toxic energy, transmuting it into harmless light. Step 3. Replace the pattern. You establish daily rituals of cleansing, a simple visualization of washing your energy field in a waterfall of light. Spending 5 minutes in nature, feeling the earth draw out the static, saying no to engagements and conversations that you know will deplete you. You become the guardian of your own inner temple, and you decide who and what gets to cross the threshold. This is how you end pattern tonight, by claiming absolute sovereignty over your own inner world. Let's go deeper with a final story, the story of Maya, who was plagued by a fear of water, so profound she couldn't take a bath without panic. It was a phobia that defied all logic. Through a process of active imagination, she didn't just avoid the trigger, she dove into it symbolically. In a meditative state, she allowed herself to envision the ocean, and the terror arose. But this time she didn't run. She asked the water, "What are you?" And the answer came not in words, but in a flood of ancestral memory, a story of a foremother who had drowned in a shipwreck crossing an ocean, the trauma of loss and suffocation that had been passed down through the cellular memory of the family line. This fear was not Maya's. It was a ghost she was carrying. Her reframe was to speak to that ancestor in her mind, to thank her for her sacrifice, to tell her she was safe now, and to lovingly release the memory back to the past. Her pattern replacement was to then, in the physical world, begin the slow, courageous process of putting her face in a bowl of water. Then a sink, then a pool, reclaiming her relationship with water not as a thing of terror, but as a thing of life. She was healing not just herself, but a rift in her ancestral line. Pause, notice what that just revealed. What ancestral ghost might you be carrying? Ask yourself this now, what fear or limitation feels bigger than your own experience? This brings us to our final and most potent weapon, Weapon 4, Archetypal Rebirth. This is where you stop being a victim of the archetypes and consciously choose which one to embody. You move from being the abandoned child to the wise orphan who forges their own family. You move from being the persecuted heretic to the embodied guru who speaks their truth without fear. You move from the hollow king to the steward of your own rich internal kingdom. Step 1. Recognize the trigger. You identify the archetype that is currently running your life. Are you the victim, the hero, the caregiver, the saboteur? Notice the recurring themes and roles you play out. Step 2. Reframe the story. You consciously select the archetype you wish to step into. If you are tired of being the victim, you choose to embody the creator. You declare, I am not the one to whom life happens. I am the one who creates my life. You study that archetype, you learn its strengths and its pitfalls, and you begin to consciously act from that place. Step 3. Replace the pattern. You live as that archetype would live. The creator creates something every day, no matter how small. The warrior defends their boundaries with honor. The sage seeks knowledge and shares it freely. You dress, speak, and make decisions as this new, chosen archetype, until it is no longer a role you play, but the truth of who you have become. This is integration and freedom. This is the moment you realize that the dark collective unconscious is not a prison, but a library of human experience, a vast repository of stories and potentials. You are not here to escape it, but to become conscious of it, to browse its shelves, and to consciously select which stories you wish to adventure, the signal that you are ready to wake up from the collective dream and start dreaming your own world into being. You are the weaver now. You feel the threads in your hands, the dark threads of fear and the light threads of love, the ancient patterns and the new designs only you can create. Your life is no longer a reaction to an unseen force. It is a collaboration with it. You have faced the dark, and in doing so, you have discovered that it was never your enemy, but your unclaimed power, the fertile void from which all creation springs. This is the final, gentle realization. You were never broken. You were just asleep in a dream that was not your own. And now, you are awake. And the world you see, the reality you feel solidifying around you, is the one you are now, consciously, courageously, choosing to weave. This is your sovereignty. This is your power. This is your freedom. And it was always yours.